All right, welcome back, everybody. So this will be the 10th video, probably the last video of the series. So the last video we raided a base, and so thinking back on it, I actually broke the flag and then deleted the chest and then killed the guy. But probably the best thing to do would be to kill the player first before even breaking the flag, because if I had killed him, he had some keys on him. And so I could have used the keys probably to just unlock the flag, and then I wouldn't have to destroy it. He would still have access to it, so in the future probably destroy it too. But if I got the key, I could have just destroyed it in one swipe. And then also killing him first prevents him logging in and killing me. So that would have been the smarter way. But luckily none of those things happened. I still completed the raid. But just some things to keep in mind whenever you're doing it. There's probably easier ways. And yeah, so, but what I'm going to do, I kind of talked about maybe raiding another base last video. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually just going to bank this. Hopefully, maybe somebody will raid me and then they can, continue on. I do have these keys and I could go around and try them on all the various bases across the map, but kind of, and there might be a bunch of loot in there too, but I'm not really going to mess with it. I'm pretty much going to use this video just kind of wrapping up on some of the smaller things that I didn't really touch on in any of the earlier videos. And so yeah, let's get started. So let's see. One of the things, let's go over like items that maybe I haven't talked about. So here are spears. Spears are pretty cheap to make, so they're a good intro weapon. So if you spawn, you can actually just get a sharp rock. You can find a sharp rock on the ground. Of course, I can't find one now. But you go around to some rubble, you eventually find a sharp rock. There we go. And then you can go up to a tree, preferably a maple one, but whatever. For this demonstration, I'll just do oak. Pick off a stick, and then you can make a spear, and then boom, you have a weapon right off the bat that you can use. So they're not super duper strong, but they do attack pretty quick. And so if somebody's not wearing armor, you can, and if you got to craft a few spears because they do break pretty quickly. But if you craft a few spears and they don't have any armor, I mean, you can make a play with it. So definitely something worth knowing. I'll run up to an animal maybe and stab them with it so you can kind of see like the type of damage a oak spear will do. So another thing is these animals, there's chickens, there's pigs, there's cows. They each have their own meat, obviously, but cows drop leather, which is like you saw, I have a leather backpack now, and so you can use that to make leather backpacks. You can also use them to make sleeping bags, which are like respawn points. Wouldn't work for me on this account because I don't. If I die, my account just gets deleted. But if I had registered my account, I could place a sleeping bag, and if I died, I'd respawn at the sleeping bag. So it's pretty good. That guy, if he had died, if he was online, he would have respawned right at his base. So as you can see, the chicken's pretty fast, so it's faster than the horse right now. So I can't really catch up to it and kill it with a spear. So that's where having a bow would be helpful. So if you can craft a bow and some arrows, you can actually just shoot some arrows at animals to hunt them. So I probably won't do that in this video because I've kind of gone over most of the things, but I'll kind of show you guys how to chase down. So cows are a lot slower. You can chase them down on a horse and then boom, stab them with the spear. So now I'll kill it with my titanium sword, so it doesn't take forever. But here's it drops some steak and some leather, so I can use this to make another backpack, a sleeping bag, or whatever. Another thing, I'll go ahead and fish for you guys. So if you get a stick and then get some cotton and then make a string. So I need a sharp rock to do that. If I can find one. Alright, there's one. So I'll make a string and then I'll make a fishing rod. So I can equip this and then I can go find a pond somewhere. It's got to be a full pond though. And then, yeah, so all I got to do is use the fishing rod on the pond and I can get some salmon. So you can cook this on a fire along with the steak and it'll make food that, really boosts up your hunger level. So definitely worth doing that. Especially one thing people do is they'll keep a pond. These ponds respawn randomly, but if you build your base around one and then just never drink it completely, then you can see the durability in the bottom right. They'll slowly gain water over time. So if you never delete it like that, then it'll always be there and it'll always refill. So you could just sit here and you could, catch fish over and over inside your base. So some people have these. Some people. Another thing is you can farm inside your base. So if you pick this corn and then you go back to your base. So here, I'll go back. You can drop the corn on the ground even after you eat it, so it becomes a corn cob. But any seed can be dropped on the ground and it'll eventually grow. So you can farm. So here, I'll do it with a potato as well so you can see. But I'll come in here and I'll eat it right here. And then when you eat it, it drops the seed anyway. So it's like the quickest way to do it. So the potato. So the corn, the reason the corn didn't drop a seed is because on the map there's already too many corn. So if there's already too much of an object, when you eat it, it like won't produce a seed for it because it's already maxed out. But for the potato, there it is. It's on the ground. So eventually this will grow into a little potato sapling once it decays on the ground, and then it'll become a potato sapling, and then eventually that sapling will grow into a potato. So that's how you would plant a potato plant inside of your base. You can do it with trees, you can do it with everything. Anything you get a seed for, you can do it with the berry bushes, all that. So you just got to make sure that there's not too many on the map already. And if there are too many on the map, you can go around, find some and clear them, and then there won't be too many, and then it'll grow inside of your base. So what else? What else would be good to mention? Every armor, every metal has its own properties, and so with metals, I think armor is a very important one. So with iron and titanium, they're strong. They're fairly strong metals, but they're also fairly heavy. So aluminum is a lot weaker, but it's a lot lighter, so you can run faster. This becomes a lot more apparent whenever you chase somebody down. So it might seem like, oh, like it's only slightly lighter. Like aluminum might be only slightly lighter than iron. But if you have two players and they're both either on a horse or off a horse, and one's wearing iron and one's wearing aluminum, the guy in the aluminum will run away so much faster, just a little bit faster, but it's enough that it's running faster, so he goes away from him, and so you just basically, once he gets a certain distance away, you'll never be able to catch him. So, and you can't hurt him anymore. So they could pretty much get away from you. If there was a combat situation, they could escape and you couldn't. So if you had aluminum, you could attack somebody in iron. If they try to run from you, they just couldn't. So it is an advantage. It's a slight advantage, but it is an advantage. And also having a full inventory. If you have a full inventory, especially of like large iron ore or something, or large like logs, then if you're trying to run away from somebody, like forget it. Even if you're on a horse, it's gonna be tough. If somebody else is on a horse attacking you and they have an empty inventory, they're gonna really hurt you. So it's important to keep that in mind whenever you're doing your little trip. So usually whenever you play, there's a lot more players online. So everything that I've shown you in this video has kind of been safe because there's nobody online really. But if you play during peak hours when there's like 5 to 10 people on, or even more than that, then it gets a lot more difficult because some of them are aggressive. They'll team up and they'll chase you down. They'll find out where you've based at, and they'll sit outside of your base. They'll camp outside of your door and kill you if you leave. Or there's just a lot. There's a lot that can happen, and so it gets really interesting when there's a lot more players. So, but I specifically chose this just so I could have a video that's easy and just straight to the point, so you can get an idea of what you should do in theory. So. Let's see if there's any other items that I haven't really covered or talked about. A canteen is something you can fill up. If you go to a pond, you can fill it up for water, so you can have it inside of your base. Let's see. I think I've pretty much covered everything on here. Yeah, if y'all have any questions, just post them in the comments. We have a Reddit and we also have a Discord channel, so I'll be sure to link those in the description so everybody can join our community. We do have a pretty small community right now, but it's growing, and most people know each other, and it's one of those things. It's not quite to the point where it's toxic or anything like that. Like a lot of games have toxic communities, but our community is is pretty nice. Most people know each other, and it's pretty like tight knit. So definitely something to join, something to play. You can play it at school, or if you're on the go or whatever. If you can't, most games take a while to download and are hundreds of gigabytes or whatever. So this is something you can play on pretty much any device or any computer. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys on, and feel free to give us feedback on the game. Thanks.